want to bring down how much information needs to be translated.
Mm-hmm.
And lighting is very expensive when it comes to processing,
Mm-hmm.
especially like bouncing rays of light and shadows and stuff off of things.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, so like all this stuff is baked in. So anytime you see shadows and stuff, except the like the helicopter and the characters,
right?
But like all the shadows of the trucks and stuff like that, it's baked into the into the landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like it's casting shadows, but the shadows are really just part of the scene.
Part of the scene.
They're cooked into the space.
Now, just your what's your problem with Kanye West?
What a transition!
Right.
I don't have a problem with him. I actually don't. I think I have the transition. I feel more pity for him than anything.
Really? Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're the successful guy that created so many beautiful pieces of art in music, and you've had so many hangups about race and all the things that you went through, and you've never learned to let them go or work past them. And on top of it, you even built up more as you went along.
Right.
You know, like the whole thing with anti-Semitism, that's relatively new to his persona. And so I just think he's unhinged.
Yeah.
And I think he's unhinged because he's like Donald Trump or anybody else who has lots of money and influence. Is you could kind of do and say and think what you want. And there are some people who are going to yes you and say, oh, you're totally right, because they want to be under your wing.
Right.
Or if you disagree with them, it doesn't matter. They're so rich and powerful, they're never going to get in trouble.
You think that's why he
see like I'm sorry, he lost the Yeezy contract, right? But he's still rich and powerful,
right?
Like he still has all his money,
right?
He's still, people still want to work with him. Maybe not everybody, but it didn't close him out. You know, and the same thing with like Donald Trump and all. I know it's a weird comparison, but it's basically the same thing. It's like anybody that's just too strong and powerful, specifically money, but I mean, if you have some kind of government connection as well, also helps.
That's probably why he looks up to people like Elon, because he always in his interviews talks about, you know, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, you know.
Yeah, and ironically, what Hassan was saying on his stream is he's throwing shade at the Jewish community, which I forgot. The population of Jews in America is not as big as people make it out to be.
Really?
I think it's somewhere around 15.
Really?
Percent, maybe 20 max. Yeah, 15%, I think. It's
but would you say
so the businesses and the things, especially Hollywood, there's a lot of Jews, but they're not all Jews. But the problem he has with Jews isn't the real problem. It's his misinterpretation that it's the Jews who are controlling everything, where it's really just capital's controlling everything. So capitalism's the problem. He's just associating with the Jewish community. So it's everything that he runs into that might be a problem in Hollywood or like whatever he's doing in his productions it's the power of capital that's keep preventing him from moving forward and doing what he wants to do. It's not Jewish people with capital. It's anybody with capital that just doesn't want to do the thing he wants to do.
Looking for a professional photographer for your next big event? Need video of your special day? Then look no further. For $100 an hour, have a professional photographer or videographer shoot your wedding, birthday party, quinceañera, bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, anniversary party, or whatever your special occasion may be. Highlight your event with professional, crisp photos and video. Check out Charles Arness Photography on Instagram, as well as book us for your next event. Must live in the Southern California area.
And for some reason, he's associating that with just Jews.
Which, okay, so if that's...
So capitalism is what's wrong. It's capital owners are the problem, not Jewish capital owners. Because not everybody that owns lots of capital is Jewish.
But see, that's the assumption everybody And see, don't you think that's why people probably think that he's anti-Semitic is because
Well, he made the association, and that's why, and he's sticking with it. He's confirming that what he believes is true, even though it's not.
Jewish people run the media industry.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So he thinks
which
that,
isn't true. Like,
right.
capital runs the media industry.
Yeah.
There are big time people who own like CNN and Fox News and stuff like that, and they're not all Jewish.
Right.
They're just really rich.
Right.
So the problem is capitalism, not Jewish people.
So that makes him.
He interprets it incorrectly, and there are a lot of other people, Americans, that think the same way.
Right. Right.
You know, one thing that did happen a long time ago that I learned about, or why this misinterpretation is kind of like there, or is a bit of a jealousy from different religious communities.
Yeah.
Because in Judaism, and this goes back really far,
right,
it wasn't wrong to make lots of money. Whereas in Catholicism, you're supposed to give the money back to the church.
Right. Right.
You're supposed to support the community. And that doesn't mean Jews don't do that. I mean, they do it only within the Jewish community.
Right.
Hasidics can be kind of crazy too. I'd say any kind of extreme belief system is pretty much becomes a little unhealthy.
Right. Right.
You know, you saw what happened with the Jews in New York City recently.
Where were the Jews in New York?
So there was a call. A call came in to the police precinct. I don't know what sections. I don't know. I think it might have been Brooklyn. It could have been Maine. It could have been Manhattan. I'm pretty sure it was Brooklyn. It's one of the boroughs.
Yeah.
Somebody calls in, and it sounds like the most anti-Semitic thing, but it's not. It was like a legitimate statement. Somebody's like, there are Jews under my apartment, and they're making noise. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right, right.
And he was living in a building. He was on the first floor. There was there's different sects of Jews, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, competing. They're Hasidics.
Right, right.
And there was a synagogue. And there was like a power struggle for it. And so the ones that had control over it shut it down. And they're like, you cannot use the synagogue. So the other Jews created an illegal tunnel underneath the city into the synagogue so they can use it and pray there and do whatever, have their congregation. So to get there, they were going underneath people's houses and making noises as they were going under the apartments.
Really? I didn't hear about this.
The police fucking showed up and had to take them out. And they were like, they weren't going, you know, peacefully. They were like causing problems.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't cool. And this is just happening after the whole Palestine thing.
Right,
like,
right.
This happens like a month, just before I left to come here, I think.
Really?
Yeah, crazy.
And that was in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it just goes to show you, like, there's an unhinged kind of mentality to extremism, especially in religion.
Right.
Like with what are those type of Christians? They're the ones in the middle of the country. They're very extreme, not born agains. Anyway, it'll come to me. They fund Israel.
Who?
These Christians.